season. New show, new folks, new reasons. New level, so you know we going up. South with the old, so you know we cleaning. We gleaning, brand new story. Got a podcast, come talk with Tori. Got you fiending, new stories. New podcast, come and talk with Tori.
Hey y'all, season 3, check it out y'all, you don't want to miss it. I have some exciting things for you. Hey y'all, podcasting has become so popular in the last few years, and it's not even that hard, y'all. Go to anchor.com, set up your free account on there, and you can start your very own podcast too, just like I did. You can either record directly on the website, or you can record your own audio and video and upload it directly on anchor.com. There's even some editing tools that you can use. I like those as well. And the best part, the part that I like the best, is that you can see how many people are listening and watching your podcast worldwide. So go check it out. Let's get it rolling. Hey y'all, what's going on? As you can see, I have on my Mardi Gras colors. So you know what that means. We're going to talk about Mardi Gras. Yeah, you excited about this? I am. And really, one of my friends, Paris, I was talking with her earlier today, and I was saying, I don't have a topic. Because her and I are going to record a podcast together, but after Mardi Gras season is over. And so she said, well, why don't you talk about Mardi Gras? And I was like, that's not a bad idea. So here I am talking about Mardi Gras, and I was glad that I had my shirt that I could grab real quick and put on. So if you're watching, you can see that I have on my Mardi Gras shirt. But so when I think about Mardi Gras, or you may call it Carnival, and some people may even call it Fat Tuesday, but when I think about it, I think of like happy times, fun times, good vibes, positivity. It's just fun time, really. And so, like a lot of people, mainly natives, New Orleans locals, they just put aside all of their differences and they just have a good time. And so I think that might be one of the main reasons I particularly like Mardi Gras time rather, because it's just a lot of positivity and people can come together and put all the differences aside. Yeah. And I asked a few of my friends and family members what were their likes and their dislikes about Mardi Gras. And I'll share those with you a little bit later on in this episode. But I just wanted to, come in and give my experiences with Mardi Gras. And maybe you'll be able to tell whether or not I like it or not. Maybe, I'm not sure. We'll see. So, and again, I always look at my notes just to make sure I'm staying on topic, staying on page, and making sure that I'm talking about everything that I wanted to talk about. So, being from New Orleans, Mardi Gras really isn't new. I'm 30-something years old, so I've been doing this 30-something years. Like I said before, I like the positivity. Everybody's just so happy, and they're so helpful to one another, and they're so loving towards one another. And so I really like that. But man, we can do some walking on Mardi Gras Day. We walk and walk and walk some more. So if you don't get exercise no other time of the year, Mardi Gras Day, you will. You will get some exercise. And even like those who are in high school or middle school, well, Mardi Gras has evolved. I keep saying well because I'm just thinking Mardi Gras has evolved. I remember back in when I was a child, most of the groups, I'm going to call them groups, most of the groups that marched were marching bands, like high schools and colleges. And those were mainly the only groups that marched. But today, um, you see all kind of groups. You see marching bands, you see brass bands, you see like color guards, you see dance groups, gymnastic teams. They come out and do some little performances in the Mardi Gras parade. Um, and then they have a few new groups like the 610 Stompers. And I think Femme Fatale has a lady group. I don't know what their names are, but I think that they have a group that march outside of their own parade. So it has Mardi Gras parades itself has evolved over the years. Like I said before, it was mainly just school bands, but now it's so much more than just school bands and floats, of course. Um, but I remember as a child just walking a long time um, to get from point A to point B because you really couldn't or you shouldn't park near the parade because of the traffic that would result after the parade was over. And so, and not only the traffic, but I think a lot of streets are blocked off. So you really couldn't park near the parade route. So you had to park a good bit away. Um, what else? Oh yeah. So like I said, I keep looking at these notes because I gotta get it. So in high school, in middle school, I was a cheerleader, and high school I was a cheerleader, and so I marched in parades. I was marching with the school's band, um, and we practiced for months. And that's another thing. So these bands, these dance teams, they practice for months before Mardi Gras season, before the season, and the performances that are given, just know that didn't happen overnight. It took a lot of practice um, and a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. So, when you go out and see these groups performing, even if they don't sound the best, just know that they did put in a lot of work and a lot of practice to get to where they are. So, don't be negative toward them. Just, if you don't like it, don't say anything at all. But try to cheer these kids on because that will go much further than you booing them or you talking bad about them. So, like I said, we practice so much, and parade day or parade night, we had so much fun. Y'all, I think as a child, those those days that we marched in the parades were probably the most fun that I had when I was a child. Um, and especially my senior year of high school. And I just remembered being a sophomore and a junior, you know, parade season come and the seniors would be at the front of the line, especially for those big parades like Endymion, Bacchus, and Orpheus. Yeah, especially those three, Endymion, Bacchus, and Orpheus. The seniors would be toward the front of the line, and pretty much they did what they wanted to do. They did not, if they wanted to do the dance that was called off, they would do it. If they didn't want to do it, they didn't do it. If they wanted to get out of line and talk to their family member, that wasn't really the thing to do. But if they did it, they didn't get in trouble for it. And so I waited for my moment when I was a senior to have that much fun. And we had a blast my senior year. I could remember it like it was earlier today. You know, just having fun, just having lots of fun. And I keep on moving, y'all. I'm sorry. Um, but just having fun, enjoying the music, enjoying the camaraderie of people cheering us on, enjoying one another, enjoying the time that was being, you know, we didn't take that time for granted. We had a lot of fun, and yeah, it was fun. That's all I can say. Um, and what else? Okay. Um, okay. So, a lot of people who are not from New Orleans, they may think that Mardi Gras is just that one day. And Mardi Gras, meaning Fat Tuesday, it is just that one day, that Tuesday. Um, but we have a Mardi Gras season. And so that season, I mean, over the years, I think it's grown, to be honest. But it used to be just 2 weeks, or a weekend, and then, no, 2 weekends, yeah. But now I feel like it's maybe 3 or 4 weekends. And now they start on Thursdays. They used to be like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it has grown over the years. And but like I was saying, a lot of people, they just think it's that Tuesday, but it is, you know, a whole bunch of parades over a time period. And so, you know, if you're wanting to experience Mardi Gras, I suggest, this is me personally, I suggest, you know, coming down for the weekend before Mardi Gras. Like maybe, even if you come that Friday evening, maybe Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I suggest, you know, trying to go catch some of those regular parades before Mardi Gras Day. Because you'll get a better experience. You'll be able to see more of what Mardi Gras really is about. And that weekend before is when the big parades, and when I say big parades, I mean like the bigger parades, because I think they're all pretty, nowadays they're all pretty noteworthy, and they all bring their own thing to Mardi Gras season. But like Endymion, Bacchus, and Orpheus. Now me, I don't particularly like Bacchus. I think they're a bit rough, but you know, to each its own. Endymion is my ultimate favorite. I love the floats. Um, I love the lights, because it's a night. Well, it starts in the daytime, but it ends at nighttime, and so the floats are all lit up. They're colorful, um, and the people who ride those floats, they're very giving, very generous. And what I mean by that is they whatever they buy, they don't want to go back home with it, so they throwing it all off of that float, and they buy a lot of stuff. Um, so it's really 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 nice, and I think it's the longest route of any parade in New Orleans. I believe that may have changed over the years, and I'm sorry I don't have the most up to date information for y'all, but yeah. What else? Oh, yeah, I was saying New Orleans, we party for 2 weeks, maybe longer, 2 weeks straight. Sorry, y'all, it's my alarm. I have alarm set for everything. Um, so there's parades, parties, nightclubs, a whole lot of money being spent because you have tourists coming in town. Tourists not just from the United States, but tourists from all over the world. So you have a whole lot of money being spent on hotels, restaurants, cabs slash Uber, Lyft, airfare. It's a whole lot of money that's generated in the city of New Orleans and surrounding areas. and a whole lot of alcohol because, baby, they can drink during Mardi Gras. They can drink during Mardi Gras. I'm a witness. That's all I'll say on that. Um, and so, like I was saying before, in the very early part of this show, I had asked my friends and family members, what are their likes and dislikes of Mardi Gras. And so many of them, um, we shared the same likes and dislikes, but there were a couple of responses that I got. I'll read all of them, but a couple of the responses that I didn't quite think of it, I guess. I'm not sure why I didn't think of it, but yeah. So some of the likes, I think I have, let me see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So some of the likes, the atmosphere and the excitement of catching throws. That had to be one of my friends who's not from New Orleans. But and maybe it was, I don't remember. One of my family members. But me, I might catch it, but I'm giving it away. I don't want to bring none of that stuff to my house. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Unless now every now and then um I will keep something. For example, a coconut from Zulu parade, um, one of the memorabilia beads, like from Endymion or Femme Fatale, or one of those nice beads, not just a regular bead. And then I'll get a big pearl bead, and I'll wear that for the night, or I'll wear that for the rest of the Mardi Gras season. But that's about it. And I know some floats, like they'll give out little roses, so I'll get a rose and wear that for the evening or whatever. But I really don't like none of that stuff. I don't. That's just me though. Some people, like I know, I have an aunt. She run behind floats for stuff. she she want it all, but she really enjoys herself during Mardi Gras time too. My whole family does. Well, not my mom, not my dad, but my family. They really like Mardi Gras. The second like from one of my friends or family members, they love the bands. They go to the beginning of the parade route just to hear the bands. And so before, so typically, the bands who are marching in the parades, they have to be there maybe 2 hours or hour and a half, 2 hours before the start time of the parade. And that's just so that the when the parade is ready to start, everyone is there. Um, they do the formation, like get in line of what place they are marching in, and so once they get in formation, they do like what's called battle of the bands, and it's not a big battle of the bands. Two rivalry schools or two other schools who have really good bands, they may want to challenge one another before the parade kicks off. And so that's what this friend was talking about. They like to go to the beginning of the parade to hear the bands, because the bands do play before the parade actually begins. So yeah, I didn't. That's one of the things I did not think about, because I'm thinking in high school I remember that, but once I was out of high school, I never wanted to be at the beginning of the parade, because I wanted to see the whole parade. And when you're at the beginning, um, you don't really get to see the whole parade, not as it's moving. Like you'll see bits and pieces, but you don't really get to see the parade. So I guess that's why I didn't think about that. Another one of my friends or family members, they said, I love how our people come together even after all of the trials and tribulations that we may have sustained throughout the year, or even a week before the parade. You know, so yeah, I like that too. I like how our people can come together. No matter what else may be going on outside the 2 week, 3 week Mardi Gras season, we come together and we have a good time. I have a friend. She recently moved. Well, Paris, the one I was talking about before. She recently moved to New Orleans a few years ago, and so she said for the first couple of years, it was fun to go to a parade, but after a while, it gets boring to just go. And so this year, she's actually in, I think, 3 parades. She got big money, y'all. She got big money. And so she said she loved the cruise and the friendships that's created. And when you join a crew, it's super expensive, even the cheap cruise. Like I said, she got big money, y'all. And then she said, I also just love how everyone is just extra during Mardi Gras. Now, for Paris to use that word extra, people must really be extra. Because my friend Paris, she's extra. She might not think she is, but she's extra. Vegas coming up soon. And so then I have some dislikes from my family and friends. People setting up days in advance. And what they mean by that is, this is for my people who's not from New Orleans or who have not really gone out for Mardi Gras parades. So, New Orleans, years past, there was no real regulations on when you can set up before a parade. Set up meaning for a spectator. When you can set up for a parade and things like that. So people would be, I know for like Endymion, people would be out, camping out 3 or 4 days in advance, just to get that perfect spot. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. But now, if I recall, last year, year before last, they put new restrictions on that. Like you couldn't do that anymore. I think you can only do it 24 hours in advance. And even on Mardi Gras Day, they do that. And I'm saying they, but we do it too. we get somebody to go get our spot, and we take turns. Not we, because I don't, but they take turns, holding a spot down, and then by 3 or 4 a.m., it's a crew of us that's out there holding it down for everybody else that's gonna come later on that morning. So it is a pretty big, it's a pretty big deal, and I can understand why you would dislike that because, you're camping out, but then what about the people who had to work? Where are they gonna stand for Mardi Gras? For Mardi Gras Day or any parade, so whatever. If it's cold Mardi Gras Day, that's a dislike. And listen, if it's cold Mardi Gras Day, you're not gonna catch me. They caught me one year. It was cold, and I told my sister, I said, I'm not going if it's cold. She said, yes, you are. You didn't come last year. You gotta come this year. I said, I'm not going. She made me go out there. Y'all, I was so cold. I was so cold. And I think I slept most of the day. I was under the covers, had the blanket over my head, blankets all over me. I was under the covers, sleep half the day because I was miserable. It was miserable. Although it did kind of warm up that year. This was maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It did warm up a little bit, but it wasn't enough. I dislike the traffic and not being able to use my phone. Yes, yes, yes. I'm sure this is for Mardi Gras Day. So the traffic, like I was saying in the very beginning, is horrendous. And I think it's worse now than it was back then. It is horrendous. And your phone, forget it. I don't even know why we bring phones out there. Maybe to take pictures. I don't know. But your phone is not going to work. Yeah, forget it. The litter is ridiculous. There has to be a better way to keep the streets cleaner. Guess what? So during Mardi Gras season, on the streets where the parades actually pass, there's a big sweeper. It comes through and clean the streets. That don't help. That don't work because in a few more hours it's gonna get all trashy again. Now, one thing that nobody said this, but one thing that I do like, just thinking about the litter. So on St. Charles, there's a bunch of oak trees, and so when the people on the float are throwing the beads and whatever, sometimes, a lot of times rather, those beads get stuck in the trees, and so those beads are in those trees. Some of them year round, and it's real pretty. It's real pretty. So after Mardi Gras, if you're in New Orleans, if you ever go to New Orleans after Mardi Gras, go ride down St. Charles where the parades pass, and you'll see some of the beads stuck in a tree. It's really, really nice. And apparently people fight over the throws. Listen, I already told y'all, I don't even like that stuff like that. So I'm not fighting over none of that stuff. But yeah. Oh, another thing that nobody said, the Mardi Gras Indians. Now, that is something I encourage everyone. If you haven't done it before, go out and see the Mardi Gras Indians. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, I wish I could show y'all some pictures, but the Mardi Gras Indians are beautiful. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And I'm going to leave y'all with a little something. I hope it plays.
When you go to New Orleans, you ought to go see